Hey guys, thank you very much for joining us. This is the 15-minute, Jesse Lopez's 15-minute podcast.
15 minutes. Starring 15 minutes. Jesse Lopez. 15
Yeah, it's just
minutes.
15 minutes of me introducing myself and then plugging my Facebook accounts. All 7 of them.
Remember to listen to 15-minute Jesse Lopez 15-minute podcast. That's the entirety of your podcast is plugging the podcast that people are currently listening to, which
we'll never be listening
which is
to.
Meta in its own way. It's entirely cyclical, and no one listens to the podcast, so they can't listen to advertisements for the podcast because the entire podcast is not, and it can't be heard. So it's a beautiful little circle within itself.
A circle of nothing. I love it. In the background here, my guest here is Wes Cornfield.
Yep.
Wes Cornfield.
Yep.
Yes. Where he's just a prop for me. My megalomaniac self just pushing forward.
Yep.
This is part 2 of the travel podcast. We just reached Arkansas.
We're in Arkansas
for you lay people.
For you uneducated souls.
For you, those of you who never gigged a frog.
Arkadelphia, Arkansas. That's where we're about.
Yeah, we were just talking about how I am no longer the most racist person in the Tri-City area.
Yep. Gotta step that game up, you know?
Yeah, I need to. I don't have that inbred racism that these people have, though.
No.
That like pounded, like my dad was ignorant, you know. He was like, oh, you know, man, black people just love to sing and dance, but nothing. This is true. He's like, I love working with black people because they sing. And
oh my god.
No, I know it's really racist now, but back then,
at the time, it's like, oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, and that sounds very nice, you know. Yeah, but and yeah, my dad would be like, never call him the N-word. He would actually say it though, because never call him that. Never. No, call him partner. You know, call him brother. They love being called partner.
Oh,
that was his understanding of it, and he was delightfully ignorant, non-hateful, not prejudiced either. It was weird. He just.
No, I get that. I think I've had this conversation multiple times because as people that live in the South, there are a lot of people that say racist shit. And I don't know how to, I still don't know how to process it. There are a ton of people that are like, well, no, my grandfather, like, he would say the N-word all the time, but it was just, like, he had no problem with black people. He would just say it because that's what everybody said.
Yeah. Well,
and is that racist? Like, yeah, it kind of is.
It is. Well, my dad only said it when he was telling me not to say it, though.
Right.
I never heard him say it other than that.
I know. I think this rule doesn't apply to you. I think by the time we're all 80, we'll all be racist because tastes will have shifted, and what we think is acceptable now, people are going to be like, you can't think those things. And the reason that rule doesn't apply to you is that you're already racist. So why would that?
Well, I think it's prejudice. Like I read somewhere in a few places, and I've been told by people that if you're not the majority of the power, you can't be racist. You can only be prejudiced. Like, let's just say, like, Egyptian slaves. I don't even know if they existed anymore. But like, they can't be, I mean, like, black people can't be racist against white people because white people are in charge. You know, they can hate them and they can be prejudiced against them, but they can't be racist. That's what I understand. And I'm a Mexican. Yep. Ashamed of it. I hate it. I wish I wasn't. But I'm one of those Mexicans with, you know, light skin and none of that fucking wet dog smell that most of them have. You know, so
wet dog. Oh,
it's true.
That's an interesting take on that. So what do you want to talk about? What do you want to
I thought we were talking about lynchings. No,
good.
Good.
Why did we start on this trip?
Why?
Man.
Yeah. No, it's lynching a Puerto Rican, so nobody gets offended.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lynching and
No, we're gonna edit this part out. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Wes.
We're gonna edit this whole. We're gonna start from 1 second and then edit to the end and cut the whole thing.
Just toss the phone out the window. Let me help you with this editing. You just toss the phone out the window, and then I reverse back and you stomp on it, and then you throw it in a swamp. They have swamps here, right? In Arkansas?
Yeah, I feel like there are definitely swamps in Louisiana. It might be too foresty for there to be swamps in Arkansas.
Kansas.
No, I don't. Let me see. I recently told a story about you that it's tough because I have to talk about it. I don't actually think you're a person that's racist, but I do think that no. I mean, it's not a compliment. I think it's a fact. But I do have to go over some of the subject matter you talk about so people understand the stuff you like. Okay, so I'll tell the story. I was telling this to a bunch of Rocky people. It's the Jay Brown story. It's the tea bags. Remember what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't. This is for anybody listening to the story because it's my favorite Jesse story. We were at Teabags. We had just done a show in Stillwater, Oklahoma, the college bar, run by Rob Novell. It went very well.
Very well.
Made a decent chunk of change off of it. And drive back, both drinking, and we close down the bar, and Jay Brown decides to hang out with us, and the entire time we're going, here's how you do comedy. If you want to succeed, you drive to Stillwater, Oklahoma. You make $120, and then you drive back here. And then Jay Brown was like, yep, that all makes sense to me. That sounds like a plan for success.
And that's what we've been doing ever since.
Yep. And so I was quite inebriated, and I walked around the back side of the bar. I announced aloud to the group that was Anna, Jesse, and Jay Brown. I was like, I gotta pee. And so I just walked past this couple, around the side of the bar, to the back of the bar, and just
Relieved yourself.
Relieved myself on the ground. And then I came back around, whistling, not caring. And Jay Brown was like,
is there a restroom back there?
No, just pee. And he was like, I gotta use the bathroom. So he's a young African American man that's about to come back into the story. He walks around the corner. He goes to the back. He walks past the couple. He pees, and he comes back. And the couple are like, "What did you do back there? Why did?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't do anything." He's like, "No, I want to know what you did back there." And I was like, "This is my fault."
Yeah.
Because of privilege and what I can get away with. And what he can't get away with because society is fucked up. I have gotten Jay into a lot of trouble. I need to do something to diffuse the situation. So my first move was I need to get the attention off of Jay onto myself, forgetting that you and Anna were there. So I just call out in like a fairly neutral tone, "Man, that's racist." And you, Jesse, you were quite inebriated. I don't know how you feel about privilege or whether or not it actually was racist.
I enjoy my privilege. I'm a Mexican, but I look white sometimes from far away, and I enjoy my privilege. I'm not ashamed to say it.
It's white privilege is. I'm guilty about it, but it is like it's a superpower I use I'm like Superman. I'm ashamed of what I have, but I try to use it for good.
Amen.
And you were quite inebriated. I don't know how aware you were of what was going on, but you just saw me yell at these people, and I guess in a moment of like I need to support Wes, you yelled out in a much more aggressive, accusatory tone, "Yeah, man, that's fucking racist." And they turn over and they're like, "Fuck you!" And they just start yelling, and you're yelling, and I'm not saying.
It turned out to be the owner of the bar.
It was the owner of the bar. It was the owner of Teabags. Yeah. The mic was run by, at the time, Tyler Harris and Mikey Swenson, and they were gone. So we
closed down that bar.
So we were in danger of not only getting Jay Brown arrested for public indecency, but now we were going to lose Teabags. That's not worse than Jay Brown going to jail. It's just now we've made things slightly more complicated.
Yeah.
One second. Sorry.
Let's stop this podcast for we're getting pulled over.
No, we're not getting pulled over.
This horrible pee-pee
I'm sorry. I got a call from Maggie. We can edit that out if you know anything about editing.
I don't.
So
you can answer the phone call. We can pause. Okay. What I should have done in that situation, and I regret this. What I should have done is punch Jay Brown in the face. That's what you get for pissing on a white man's building. You uppity black person.
No.
And then we would have been heroes.
I mean, I feel good about how it played out from there. So the owner is yelling, and he's yelling in his lady, the woman he's with, is yelling in a much more aggressive, angry tone at Jesse. So I don't know how she felt before this point, but if she I don't know if she made it clear that she had problems with you beforehand, but she started lashing out at your terrible jokes and that you said the worst things anyone has ever said at this bar. And I looked at her and I was like, "You talking to him? Talking to me? Who's the subject of your insults?" And she was like, No, you were fine. He was the worst thing I've ever seen. And I was like, "Ma'am, I write all of his jokes."
Diffusing situations all day long. That's Corwin.
And then they laugh, and Jesse laughs, and we all five of us have a good laugh. And I walk over and I'm like, "I'm very sorry. I really like your bar. I really like the mic that's put on at your establishment. It's a really good comedy show." And he was flattered, and he was like, "Yeah, I just started coming to the show. It's really good." And here's the thing. I've told that story. I told that story to Tyler Harris. I told that story to the people that run that show. And I didn't do it on stage for a while just because it ends in a very neutral, like, everything got resolved. And then I told that story last night to the people in my Rocky horror cast, and somebody pointed out, "Wait a second, did you shake his hand with the hand you just peed with?" And I was like,
yes.
I didn't realize that for 2 years, but that's exactly how that story ends, is me going, "Thanks." Yeah.
And then you pat him on the shoulder with your wet hand.
That didn't happen, but Jay Brown also shook his hand.
That's true. I remember them. Everybody shaking hands.
Everybody
shaking hands after they piss.
I told that story, like, I was still like, as I was telling the story, because people wanted to hear my story at Rocky Party last night. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is a fine story, but it doesn't end well enough for me to do on stage." And then somebody pointed out, and I was like, "This is the best stage story."
Yeah.
Just 'cause, it ends nice. I like everything about it. But no, I think that's my, if not my favorite Jesse story, that's at least my second favorite Jesse. My favorite Jesse story might be the radio. But I've talked about the radio before. I mean, that's more of a Monty story than it is a you story.
Well, I was pretty drunk.
You were drunk at the radio station?
Yeah, remember I took in beers into that thing in my jacket.
You did.
I had a huge jacket. I took in a bunch of beers, and I was just chugging. And my flask. I had a whiskey flask. I was loaded.
They escorted us to the door afterwards, and they explained every strike we had gotten.
I don't even remember being walked out. I remember walking around. Well, you tell the story.
I can tell the story.
Yeah, go for it, please.
This was back Skylark Lounge.
My first headlining set, actually.
First headlining set. Bill O'Brien.
30-minute headlining set.
He got a show to run out of the Skylark Lounge, and he was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to put on a show." And among the interesting decisions he made, one, to advertise the show starting at 7 and then wait till 8:30 to actually start it. Wearing a dress for the ladies only show. He booked a show with only ladies and then decided to host it in drag. Interesting decisions all around. He also decided to let Jesse headline the first show and do 30 minutes. And Jesse was like, "I want Wes to do the show," and Bill was like, "I don't know about that. I'm going to pick the talent." And then Jesse was like, "I refuse to do the show unless Wes gets a 5-minute guest spot," which I appreciate, because I wouldn't have gotten to headline Skylark.
I tried to talk him out of it. I was like, "Are you really sure?
Yeah.
Like, you want me to do 30? He's like, Jesse, you got it." I was like, I don't. Because my longest set was 12 minutes before that.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I did pretty good though, but
it went.
But I jumped from 12 minutes to 30 minutes.
Just a straight leap over the middle. Yeah. So I appreciated having time to do the show, and I wasn't advertised on any of the posters. It was a guest spot. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things that, the Skylark Lounge, the show. What was it called? It was the Best of Austin Comedy.
Best of Austin Comedy. What
Jeez,
a lie.
What a lie. They got it. Bill was talking to the host of this podcast, I think it's still on Co-op Radio, called Writing on the Air with Francois, who was very proud at the time. Nothing against Francois. He was a super cordial host. He was a nice dude. I don't know how much experience he has interviewing stand-ups, but he was like, oh yeah, I know something about performing because I read some poetry before a metal show. And he brought that up a number of times.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. It's just a funny thing. I think it's funny. The entire time, so we get there, and I don't know if anybody listening to this, I don't know if anybody's listening to this, but if you are, you're probably a comedian in the Austin area because that's a majority of Jesse's following. I don't know if you've ever been on the radio before. If you've never been on public radio before, they sit you down and they explain all the rules to you.
Yeah.
Number one, no cursing, no profanity whatsoever.
Yes.
Number two, no calls to action. You can't tell people what to do. You can't even say, enjoy this show, which is one of the freedoms of podcast. I can tell you to do whatever I want. But because public radio is seen as a government thing, like it's government funded, you can't tell people what to do. You have to be clever about it. You have to say, if someone wanted to go to your show, where would they go? And then they feed you the address. Then you say the address, that's how it goes. The last thing is you cannot say units of currency on
units
the
of
show.
currency.
You can give away tickets. You can say you can say there are going to be drink specials. You can say tickets sold at the door. You cannot say tickets are $5. You can say it's a free show. You can't, once it's above a free show, you can't bring up the cost. So those are the three rules. Jesse started sweating at no profanity. He was, yeah.
I was really nervous about that.
He was freaking the fuck out. And he was looking at me like, this isn't going to happen. I can't not be profane for an hour long.
It was an hour.
It's an hour long show. And I was like, no, man, you'll be fine. At the time, I generally thought he was fine. So, at the time, like, it was a nightmare situation. There were 8 comedians on the show. Mika McCook, Ella Gale, Ben Ursillo, Abe Dashner. Bill is doing even though he's not the headliner of the show, he's the host of the show, he's effectively running things. He's the wrangler. Whenever
he brought a coconut with him.
Idiot. He answered every question first. He always had the longest answer. He would take credit for... He explained that the reason he was running the show is he wanted all these younger comedians to have an opportunity. Whatever. Abe Dashner, younger comedian, whatever. I like Abe as a person. He's not a younger comedian. Actually, I think Abe's gotten a lot better at comedy.
He has. Yeah. He actually hosts. He just hosts once a week. Just once a week, does his thing, and he's getting way better. Like way funnier about everything. Mm-hmm. Now, when he talks about his daughter slipping on a dildo, it's not shocking and horrifying. It's actually funny.
Yeah, it's nice. He's gotten a lot better. I think he's good. So yeah, Mika McCook, Ella Gale, Ben Ursillo, Montgomery Wayne, may he rest in peace. I love Monty.
Rest in peace, cowboy.
Bill O'Brien. Am I forgetting anybody? You and me. That's like 9 people in a very.
Mika and Ella looked very good that night at the show.
Oh, okay. If you all right.
Yeah.
If you say so.
I can describe them to you.
No thank you.
Silky smooth.
No.
Voluptuous.
No, I'm fine.
Statuesque.
Statuesque.
What else? How can I say these things without people knowing that I wanted to bone both of them?
So we get in there.
Completely ignoring.
We get in there. They line if my count is correct, they line up all 9 of us in a closet. We're in a recording studio,
It's a giant closet.
On one side of the room is all of us, and then on one side of the room is Francois, the host, and his producer. Maybe his sound mixer, his editor. I'm not sure the exact. But basically, the show runs on a 7-second delay. If somebody messes up, what happens is she holds down a button, and then they cut out the part where an error occurred. So we get into the so we've got a safety net, but if we get 3 strikes, they're gonna be like, we can't, because they only have a 7-second delay. If somebody unleashes a stream of profanity, they just have to. They have 7 seconds to cut out, and then they just have to turn off programming. So 3 strikes, and then we're all kicked out is the rule. But ideally, we won't get kicked out is the hope. So we're getting fed questions. Francois decides that the best way to start is to ask everybody to describe their comedy. Bill actually pulls out a coconut and holds it up to his own head. And he's like, because my head looks like a coconut. Which, okay, first off, stupid thing. Second of all, you're doing it on the radio. You brought a coconut into the radio station. And he was holding it up to his own head for a good 5 to 10 seconds in silence. So people over the radio could
see.
Yeah. I could, I'm not gonna, I can't. I cannot keep talking about that.
Hey man, I mean, some people got it, some people carry coconuts.
Some people. Goes down the line, talks to Ella, talks to Mika, talks to Abe. Here's the thing, I appreciate Abe as a hilarious person, but only in retrospect. At the time I was irritated because his answers were all like, I don't know why I'm here, I'm not good at comedy. And I was at the time I was like irritated, like, man, why are you doing it? And now that I think about it, that's kind of funny to be on a radio station and be like, yeah, it's not funny. Yeah. The show won't be good because I'm on it. And then Montgomery Wayne, he did. So okay, let me rewind the story. I was comforting Jesse. He was freaking out, like, I'm not going to be able to do it. Yeah, and I was like, Jesse, you're going to be fine. In the middle of it, Monty is like, hey man, what are you going to do? And I'm like, what do you mean? On the radio, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, it's an interview. So he's going to ask questions, and then we're going to answer those questions. And he's like, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do my set. That's my plan. I am going to do my 5.
The 5 that he did for like 4 years.
He did the same 5 minutes
for
a long
years.
time. He was mastering that 5, and he was like, it's all been building to this. Yeah. Is doing my 5 on a public radio station. So if you have, okay. So it goes down the line. We get past Abe. Ben is funny, but I can't remember what Ben said at all. I think he was. I think he didn't know how to answer the question. Describe your comedy. How did you get into comedy? Monty, on the other hand, he gets fed the question like, so tell me about your comedy. Monty immediately launches into where my outlaws at. Francois, where my outlaws at? Talking to one other person in the room, and Francois is delighted and confused. And I maintain, if you can enjoy Montgomery Wayne's comedy one way and one way only, I have to recommend listen to it as a conversation between somebody that doesn't understand what's going on and Montgomery Wayne. Because Monty is saying things like, if you're not with us, you're against it. If you're not, that's the narc's mentality. If you're not with us, and if you're not against us, you're with us. That's the mentality of the outlaw.
And they're peanuts or peanuts.
And Francois is just like, sure. Yeah. And he never laughs. He never understands fully that, like, he's listening to a set. He thinks he's listening to a conversation. So he's trying to, like, sneak in questions like, so what is it? And Monty is just rolling over him doing these jokes. And it was magnificent. Eventually, okay, so about 90 seconds in to Monty's intended 5-minute set, Francois is like, oh, and now we're gonna go on. He goes over to me. I tell a story about my ex-girlfriend at the time, because this question was like, how'd I get into comedy? And I told him about going to see Louis C.K. for the first time at the Paramount. Wasn't a great story, but at the time, with my limited storytelling abilities, I was okay. Let me rewind again. We're gonna like Pulp Fiction snatch our way through this. We gotta rewind back and forth. Once Monty started doing his set, the entire time Jesse was standing next to me. Once Monty started telling his jokes, Jesse starts pacing behind the line of 9 comedians backwards and forwards, just building up.
I remember
building up energy. Yeah, because
damn, how can you be such a fucking moron? How can you be such a fucking moron? That was like just kept on going through my head.
Why are you doing your set on the radio? And he starts pacing and he starts quickening up his speed. And I'm talking, and Jesse. We're passing around. So Francois has a microphone just in front of him in a little stand. We're passing our microphone around. So I tell my story. Jesse gets into position. I hand him the microphone, and Francois feeds him the question. After pacing like a caged tiger, he looks ready. He's got that like performing anger. He's in the face. He's got it, and he's like. Jesse Lopez, you're the headliner of the show. Tell me about your comedy. First thing out of Jesse's mouth is, I'm a fucking hurricane. And immediately, Francois is like, we're going to take a quick break. and just all this rage. I'm a fucking hurricane is exactly what you would say on stage, but because it was you just immediately wilt like a dying flower. Just nothing, like. And I was like, no, you're fine. And they were like, all right, that's strike 1, 2 more and you're out. And you're like, it's fine. And so they flip the radio back on, you start talking. And okay, if you listen to the broadcast, because of the 7-second delay, they cut out the fucking. So Francois asks Jesse, like, hey, what's your tell Jesse Lopez, tell me about your comedy. And Jesse goes, I'm a hurricane. I'm a hurricane, man. And then there's an awkward pause, and then Francois feeds him another question. What you don't know is there was about 2 minutes between that where like I was talking to Jesse, no, you'll be fine. And Francois was explaining like, no cursing on public radio, we'll lose our funding, please, and just chastising everybody. One thing that I forgot about that Abe reminded me of after I told this story at Monty's memorial, because there was a time that I was like, this is the most appropriate story. This is by far my favorite Monty story, and also it's a top 3 Jesse Lopez story. Abe pointed out, like, after Francois did something very unwise, which was he pointed out that Jesse was struggling to answer the questions in a clean, no curse. He was having to bite his tongue, and Francois was like, oh, you're kind of having to do that. And then Abe said aloud, like, yeah, he's like a nun in a cucumber patch with these things. Did not get censored. You can hear it on the podcast, Writing on the Air with Bill, with Austin Comedy. You can still find that episode, and he does say that, and apparently Francois gave him a death glare, like fuck you. But it was clever innuendo, so we didn't get a strike for it. So that was about 10 minutes in. So we've got 50 minutes, 2 strikes. We get to 42, so we're 52 minutes in, 42 minutes past our first strike. We have to get through 8 more minutes to round out the hour and not get kicked out, which seems achievable. Then Francois kind of throws us a curveball. So he looks and says, all right, you guys are going to be part of the your show is the Austin Comedy. It's at the Skylark Lounge. Everybody go down the line. Give me one reason people should go to this show. Which, on the surface, looks like he's doing that thing I talked about earlier. He's giving us a means by which to jump into the topic. But it's a stand-up comedy show. How many ways can you, say their reason to come to the show? You can pretty much just say the price, and you can tell people to come to it. There's no way to do it. I was trying to think of a clever answer. I'm sure other people were. The first one up is Montgomery Wayne. And he saw this. He saw the equivalent of Olympic hurdles and was like, the best way to do this is to run straight through the hurdle. So he gets the mic. Francois is like, all right, everybody give one reason to go to the Best of Austin Comedy Show at Skylark Lounge. Montgomery Wayne, go. And Monty gets on the mic and says, just come to the show, it's $5. Which immediately breaks rules 2 and 3 of public radio. You cannot tell people what to do, no calls to action, and no saying prices. Monty found a way.
2 for 1.
2 for 1. 2 strikes, 1 sentence. And here's the thing that I find impressive. Number 1, in a room with Ben Rosillo, Abe Dashner, Jesse Lopez, and myself, Monty was the one that got us kicked off the radio. Number 2, Jesse may have unleashed some obscenity, but he did it in a very censorable way where it's a little awkward. But if you didn't know the story, you'd be like, oh, this sounds weird on this part, but yeah, it sounds like Jesse just said I'm a hurricane. If you listen back to this episode, what you hear is Francois asking, all right, everybody, give me one reason to come to the Best of Austin Comedy Show. And then, well, that's all the time we have. Thank you for coming, Austin comedians. Immediate. And so he ruined the show in a way that was thoroughly uncensorable. But yeah, we walked out and I didn't even know we had, Francois just wrapped it up. I was like, oh, I guess they cut the hour early. And then the lady walking us out was like, no, you guys got 3 strikes and now you have to leave. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. Okay. But no, that was my first and only time on the radio. And it was actually quite fun. Except for the fact that we got kicked off of it. But that was, yeah. No, that wasn't your first time on the radio, was it? You had that FBI 2013.
Oh yeah, FBI 2013. I did something. I forget.
You did a radio spot for fan favorite.
Radio spot for fan favorite. I remember that. A funny story about fan favorite.
Okay.
Everybody cheated.
Yeah.
I was the 4th person to do so, though.
Sure. You were the 4th person.
But the thing is, I made about 20 email accounts and I emailed the radio station accusing me of cheating.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
I have no idea. I think I just
were you trying to cover your own ass, so it didn't look like there was nothing suspicious going on? You were turning yourself in through a third party?
I think what I wanted was just that contest to just crash.
Yeah.
Just the whole thing, because I took it as a joke.
Sure.
And when I saw that people, who was it that was cheating?
Kelly Stone was cheating.
Kelly Stone was cheating, definitely.
Michael Navarrete was cheating.
Oh, definitely. The only ones that weren't cheating were Lawson.
Yeah.
Lawson Bennett, an ex-roommate of mine.
Yeah.
Pat Soroyce.
Pat Soroyce wasn't cheating.
Wasn't cheating.
Otto Younger wasn't. No, not Otto Younger. What's his name? What is his name?
Out of 13 of us, everybody was fucking cheating, man.
Aaron McDavis wasn't cheating.
No, Aaron McDavis was not cheating. And who else?
Then, Bartow McCarty. Bartow, whatever his name is. Bartow McCarty.
I don't remember.
He wasn't cheating. I don't think he was cheating. And then,
yeah, there might have been 1 or 2 more.
Who else was in that field? It was 13 people, wasn't it? It was Kelly Stone, Lawson. I'm trying to think of the people that were cheating. Michael Navarrete, Sean Mooney, you, Kelly Stone. Who else?
Fuck. No, but it was a big old thing where people were accusing me of cheating. I mean,
Chris Tellis.
Chris Tellis.
He was in there. I remember. Yeah. Because everybody made those videos vote for fan favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vote for fan favorite. Yeah.
And
shit. Who else?
What's his name? What is his?
We're gonna edit this. We're gonna just be like, oh, A, B, C, and D were there.
Oh man, I'll never remember it in 100 years.
No,
it's this one comedian I can remember.
Nobody gives a shit anyways. My listeners aren't even listening. This podcast is forever lost in my cell phone.
You should put up this podcast somewhere. I'll show you.
I will. Well, the thing is, also I kept on telling them that I was going to report them to the FCC.
Why would you do that?
Because of the contest being rigged, and I showed them all the times. I posted the times. Look, this person right here at this time had 0% votes, and now they have 22% of the votes. How is that possible? There's not enough people in Austin to do that. Like, just, I mean, I counted the votes at about like maybe like 300 for a 1/10% of the things at the end. So anyway, it was a bunch of stuff with computers that other people taught me how to cheat there.
I get it. Blake Majetti.
Blake Majetti.
Yeah.
I always thought it was Blake Midget. I still thought it was Blake Midget.
I think it's Majetti. I could be wrong.
Is it the bearded one that's really short?
Yeah. That's Blake Majetti. And no, yeah, that was just a terrible cluster of a contest. That was absolutely terrible. And then Mac Blake ended up winning that year, FBI 2013, and he was supposed to win a radio spot. He was supposed to win a DJ slot or like some kind of hosting gig on Comedy 107.
Yeah.
And right after the contest ended, the radio station shut down.
I like to think that I was a big part of that.
Because of all your complaints to the FCC.
I complained and I threatened them and everything. I was like, maybe it's just a little itty bitty nudge in a direction. I hope so. I hope I did. That station sucked.
Yeah. It definitely was, like, I mean, I don't know. I would love a comedy station in Austin. I think it helps with exposure. At the same time, it's so hard to compete nowadays with satellite radio and Spotify. I don't think anybody listens to terrestrial radio anymore. So what's isn't that much of a benefit?
Oh, I don't even know what celestial radio is.
Terrestrial, like FM, AM, FM.
Terrestrial. Oh, wow.
Because everybody's got a radio station in their phone now. Everybody can just turn on YouTube or iPhone, iPod settings. Like, it used to be like either you listen to AM, FM, or you don't listen to anything.
Yeah. You know? That's the way it is in my car, actually. I don't have an auxiliary cord thing.
Oh,
They broke it.
So you would listen to 102.7 if it existed?
If it existed, I would.
But you put it out of business single-handedly.
Single-handed. I just said I was a little itty bitty part of the decision making.
Yeah, that's true. You have been very humble in your role.
Very humble in my role of their demise.
Yeah.
But no, I did. I loved it, and that's what I do. I sit at home just with a pile of wrenches and just wanting to throw them in gears, any gears. I don't care.
Yeah. No, I wish I had the programming know-how. Like, okay. I'm not as much about wanting the world to burn as you are.
Oh, I love it.
In that Heath Ledger Dark Knight sense. I wish I had the programming know-how I did now as I did then. Because if there was, I could have just dropped 50,000 votes for you every other minute. Because it was okay, so here's the thing. Alex Ferraro figured out 30 minutes into the contest that there was no regulation on the HTML form. Like, it doesn't check whether or not you've ever voted before. So if it checks, you can vote every 24 hours. Or if you turn on, like, sneak mode or secret mode or whatever the mode is.
Yeah, you turn off the cookies or whatever it is.
You can just vote again.
Yeah.
And so if you set, like, a mouse recorder, if you set it to where your computer automatically voted, you could just leave your recorder running for hours. You could leave a computer running for hours, and it launches a vote every 8 seconds or so.
Yeah, and I remember one of my quotes on that shit was, "I'm not gonna win. I don't care if I win. I just want to watch that contest burn."
Yeah.
And I almost did it.
Yeah.
Because everybody knew it was fucking bullshit, anyways.
I mean, you definitely made the fan favorite contest burn. Because after that, there was no chance of that fan favorite. Like, they had to rechristen it after what happened.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think Matt Bearden did excellent damage control by pointing out, like, people were like, this is cheat, this is wrong, and then Matt Bearden was like, why does any of this matter? None of the people in the fan favorite contest are good enough to win.
Yeah.
And that was a great point.
And how the hell are you gonna get knocked out in the first round and then all of a sudden be finals material?
Yeah.
How the fuck does that happen?
It's a pretty dumb system is what it is.
Yeah.
Somebody made the point like the fan favorite should move you into the semifinals, which makes more sense.
It does.
Yeah. But what were we talking about? Just the fan favorite contest. The thing is, if you're gonna do something like the most recent iteration of the fan favorite contest was the favorite, the funniest comedian favorite, whatever. That was last year. Was people put videos up for the radio station, and it was like Juan Salinas, Jay Whitecotton, and Nate Sinclair. They were at the top, and that had security around the forum, so you could only vote once, and then that was it. And then it would check your IP address. This one was just an HTML form, and if you went into Firebug with Mozilla Firefox and you like changed the value, so instead of 1 vote per click, you changed to 50,000 votes, you would just get 50,000 votes, and that's how Sean Mooney won. That's how like you would catch up to him, and it would be even, and then he would shoot forward 20%, and then it just kept going in that fashion. Here's the thing. I actually really wish I could find the results, because the vote count must be in the billions for voting.
Oh man, it was way up high. Like,
because
there's more votes than people in Austin.
For sure.
Tenfold probably.
Yeah. It's a shameful chapter of Austin comedy history, but an important chapter, I believe. It was a very dark moment for all of us, and
I'm glad that I exposed it, though.
Yeah.
I'm very glad all these fucking hypocrites.
I'm glad that you're glad.
I'm always glad. That's why I love Austin comedy. Like, that's why, because man, there's always something that makes my smile grow.
Aww.
My heart,
Yeah.
my dick gets hard every time some fucking little pansy is complaining about me, and I fucking go out there and I do well the next day or whatever, or I get booked for a show and I do well at that. I'm like, shit, man, they mean nothing. Their opinions mean nothing. They're stupid. They're fucking, I don't know. Where was I going?
Yeah. Oh, I think we were just talking about how much you love the Austin comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you happy.
It makes me happy. My dick hard.
Yeah.
Makes my dick hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry guys, I'm trying to weave over these 18-wheelers.
I'm so pumped, because my point was I wish I could have used that contest and like had multiple people going, because as it was, the person that won was the best coder. Sean Mooney, I think, is very funny. He either has the best programming know-how, or he knew the best person with the best programming know-how.
I'm pretty sure he knew.
Yeah.
Because it was like the last day that he did it.
He's a smart guy. But I'm much less frustrated about the contest itself. I'm frustrated that FPIA trusted this radio station to like, hey, we're gonna let this contest be a part of we're gonna let your thing be a part of our contest. It's gonna move somebody forward. And that radio station decided to half-ass their security. It was very disrespectful toward all the comedians. And the fact that I think the whole thing was super lame. But I don't know. I don't run FPIA. I love I don't know. I don't love. Now that we're far away from the contest, I don't love comedy contests, but I do appreciate FPIA because it makes people more aware of local comedy, and it brings out a room full of people just to check out people in the city, and it does it every night of the week for like a month, and that's really cool. But I objectively don't think I like comedy contests, but I like
the idea.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. I wish it were. I don't know. This is a thing people that have been doing comedy have been trying to figure out since the dawn of comedy. Is like, how can we objectively decide who's better than who? And there just might not be a way. But
I mean, you can't really find it is what do you call it? Subjective?
Yeah, it's completely subjective.
But shit. Why can't I think of any things? Why can't I think of things? But no, you can actually judge it a little bit by laughter or something. These contests, if you like sing or whistle or do a rhyme or poem, you automatically go to the semifinals.
I mean,
if anybody that wants to advance, sing, do a poem, whistle, something, do something in a tuneful way, anything, any little rhyming bullshit, and you will advance. I mean, shit, you'll hate yourself. You'll be a fucking, what do you call it? A fucking sellout or whatever they call them, a fucking hack. But you'll advance.
I don't know.
Go for it.
I don't know. I've seen people do rhymes and puns, and I've seen people sing 80s songs, and they don't get anything. I've also seen people rhyme and sing and do 80s songs and go all the way to the finals.
You listen to me, kid. I've been in this contest for 27 years.
I've been in this contest for 27 years, and I've never advanced once. So I know a thing or two.
I know a thing or two about advancing.
I've never advanced. I've never sung an 80s song. Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah. There's no tunes in my heart, kid.
Just anger. And then there's some dead air.
There's dead air. For you guys, this has been the Jesse Lopez 15-minute podcast with Wes Cornfield here.
Wes Cornfield, yeah.
And very funny man. Very. He has helped me a lot in my jokes. And about maybe one of them. One of the jokes. One of them. One that I don't say anymore.
Just the 20-minute one.
Just the 20-minute one.
Just the 20-minute one that makes up 2/3 of your good material.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, I write a lot of... Dude, I have one roast joke, just like because I want to eventually roast joke rematch you.
Oh, God. I'm not doing that.
Oh, come on. It'll be good. And then, I wrote one roast joke, and I like it, but I'll spend it so we can start from even when we start writing roast jokes for the next roast show. Where is it? I remember it. The gist of the joke is Jesse Lopez, Jesse Lopez is an incredibly skilled stand-up comedian. He kills it everywhere he goes, and by it I mean his chances of getting booked anywhere. I
that
think
is weak.
Yes,
I wish.
I think that should sting because it's so true.
It is true though.
I'm sorry. I like to start with your appearance and then fade into you're unsuccessful. So yeah, it's not a great one to open with, but I think it'd be a strong middle. You feel like that was weak? You think that's
weak.
Not weak?
I mean, you had a string of clearly insulting and very funny jokes during the roast, so I expect nothing less.
Well, yeah. When I gear up for a roast battle, like 10 minutes just comes to me. But while nothing's coming, I'm like, while I don't have a roast battle scheduled, I'm just like, this could be good later. And so, taking one snippet out of a film or a song and being like, well, that's a flat note. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah. I guess you're right. What you should do is write me more jokes.
Alright.
Because I'm running out. I wear them out. I wear out all the fucking jokes into a nub.
Yep.
And
I think that's the way you do it.
I can tell when I'm kind of like hitting shit on the nail and everything because people come from outside the smoking area inside to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
When I'm doing something worthwhile. I don't know. I haven't had that in a while.
We can get something going for you. But I totally understand. There are moments in time, maybe not bits, but there are times when like everything just syncs up perfect.
Yeah.
And a crowd can be loud and rowdy, and then just 15, 20 seconds into your bit, they just get quiet and they're listening, and then it just starts hitting. I totally know what you're talking about. Is the where just everything lines up perfect, and then people start coming in to hear what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing.
I used to be powerful.
And now look at me. Recording this podcast with you.
Yeah. Like one of those aging lions at a circus, just chained up to a hole.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Waiting.
Not even at the circus. There's a circus show going on, and they just chain up the lion next to a bank. Oh, we gotta get on this show. Let's put this lion here so he won't interrupt us. The lion is...
Then eventually they're gonna turn into soup for other lions.
Lion soup.
Lion soup.
Yeah. Strong man's gotta eat.
The strong man. Yeah. And he just tears the hide right off while it's still alive. It starts gnawing.
Yep.
Well, I mean, hey, we're about maybe an hour and a half into Arkansas.
Yep. We are about 3 miles away from Little Rock.
About 3 miles.
Yeah.
3 miles.
Yeah, just about.
Oh shit! I want to see the Capitol building.
You want to see the Capitol building of Arkansas?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna drive around.
Dude, I bet you that's where Bill Clinton went most of his fucking fingers in there.
We actually passed. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a hero of mine, kind of.
Really?
You know, not the stuff that he did sexually, but you know, he fixed up the country. He was a fucking cool, he was like one of the first cool presidents besides JFK.
Yeah.
But JFK was banging Marilyn Monroe. I mean, how can you beat that?
No.
You know,
Yeah.
if Obama started banging like Beyonce, maybe he can compete. But but yeah, no. Clinton was a great president.
He was a pretty good president.
He was
Very good with the economy.
fucking A.
And good with the ladies.
Am I right?
You know, made off with those ladies.
The audience is not gonna know.
Who needs them?
Who needs them? Who needs them? Who needs you? These podcasts are they're just for my own personal enjoyment.
Yep.
You miserable fucks.
You monsters.
Yeah.
So,
Capitol building.
Capitol building.
Capitol building.
In 1.5 miles, you're going to take exit 138A. What do you want? Oh. No matter what, you're going to take. You're going to get to the right. The Capitol building. All right. We're driving to the Capitol building now.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I can smell it. I can smell the wonder. I can smell the Congress people.
I can smell the intern. To the right.
All the way?
All the way. Okay, and then 0.7 miles. I'm gonna take a ride. This really is a new experience. I have never recorded a podcast middle of a road trip.
Yeah,
So it's been good. It's been good.
Oh, it's been what do you call it? Enduring and strenuous for me because I have to. I can't drive and do shit.
No, I get you. Yeah, the first one was more of a conversation. This was more of a storyfellers. I have always wanted to do storyfellers.
Storyfellers?
That podcast hosted by Pat Dean and Lane Krupp. I got asked to do it once, and I was like, I'm not in town. And then I was like, and then I hit up Lane like, sorry, I wasn't available. I'm free to do it whenever. And then I just never got it.
Yeah, you know, Lane Krupp is actually one of my favorites. I thought it was the funniest thing ever when I started.
Lane's really funny.
But he quit.
He quit doing comedy?
Or I never see him anymore.
He still hosts that Tuesday Kick Butt show, the $2 showcase. It's not on Tuesday. Is it on Tuesday? I don't know.
Friday? Is it the Friday one?
Yeah, it might be on Friday. It's called the $2 showcase.
Oh, okay.
Lane still hosts there, and I don't know if I assume he still does some stand-up. He might not do it in Austin. He might be trying to go on I don't know what he does. You're right. I don't see him out very often.
No.
But, no, he's really good. He's crazy good.
Yeah.
Yep. At Lane Crayra.
And the other guy, not so much.
Pat Dean. I like Pat Dean. He's good. I like Pat Dean. I like Pat Dean I think Pat Dean is one of the funny human beings. He's very naturally funny. I don't know if you've seen his video on Vice. He waited in line at Franklin's Barbecue for 6 hours and just riffed on people. It was like a Billy on the Street, Tom Green, like messing with people as you wait in line for barbecue, just interviewing people about how they're wasting their time. And then he sat down and ate some Franklin's. He was like, "Yeah, this is pretty good," and that was it was good. It was this Vice magazine. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, Vice magazine is this cool magazine that has stories about really offbeat, off-color stuff. Like there's a they broke the story about Crocodilicus. That's probably not the name of it. Crocodile. It's this Russian drug that like melts your skin off.
Oh, that's bullshit, isn't it?
They have the crazy stories, and they also opened up the branch of their website called Vice Munchies that's all about food news. And they got Pat Dean to record a segment for him, so now we can say that's featured on Vice Pat Dean.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good what do you call it? Resume thing?
Credit. But no, it was a really good segment. He's very funny off the cuff. He's very funny in conversation.
That's good.
He does not like you, but
but everybody likes me.
Everybody loves you. No, I don't know if it's because of what happened at Heckle Factory, but
what?
You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember Heckle Factory?
No. What did I do to him?
Okay, I'm going to tell you. Okay, we'll close out this episode segment, part 2 of this with this story
of driving to Tennessee.
Heckle Factory was a nightmare of a show. I love it in concept, and I think it can be done well as a show that is pro heckling. Lawson Bennett and Jimmy Preston. Lawson Bennett and Sam Maspero. Lawson is a very skilled comedian, and he can keep people's attention, but as a host, he will let things go to the point of absurdity. And the entire premise of the show is the audience gets to yell at the comedians all they want, you need a host that can rein people in. And that is never what happened at Heckle Factory.
No.
And so there was a show that Michael Folk, one of the people that helps run the New Movement Theater, was like, hey, we need to get out of here at a pretty decent time. I believe Lawson and Jimmy were hosting. They're hosting Heckle Factory. They keep sneaking people on. So they were given a very strict, we all have to be out of here at this time. And they were like, yeah, we're just going to let this person do 5, and this person do 5, and this person do 5, and this person do 5.
Deuteronomy, I think it's called.
Yeah. Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy. Look it up, guys.
That's a book in the Bible.
Oh, for real?
Deuteronomy.
Oh, then it's Reaganomics then. Look up Reaganomics. It's when your friends, you do favors for your friends, and then you leave other people twisted in the wind because they're not your friends.
Yep, that's Reaganomics. That is definitely.
And they also introduce crack cocaine into the public.
That is definitely. It's nepotism.
Nepotism.
Nepotism is what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, nepotism. All right.
Reaganomics. Nepotistic Reaganomics.
Nepotistic Reaganomics.
So, Pat Dean is standing in the back. He was like, hey, can I do some time? And Lawson could have explained to him, you remember now, yeah. Hey, we were told by Michael Folk we have to end the show. Because Michael was being very reasonable. He was at first like, hey, we have to end the show by this time. And then he started telling Lawson and Jimmy, end the show. Because it had already run over by the time I had gotten on stage. I was scheduled on Heckle Factory. I had gotten bumped by a number of people. The show, first of all, was not... I can't comment on whether or not it was booked well, whether or not it was a good lineup. I will say a number of comedians, their plan was like, oh, I'll take the stage and I'll dress up like this. And they had no material planned. Cody Greenlee did that thing with Jamie Hunt where like he got a peck on the cheek like a game show was in the 70s. And then he was just like, well, that was my whole plan. And then he kind of did material and none of it went over. Josh Stab also... 3 different people traded that suit jacket and nobody thought it worked.
That's Austin comedy.
Yeah. So I get on stage and I start out telling jokes, and it goes well because a number of people approach Heckle Factory like, I just want to get heckled. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
But if you actually do comedy, like the crowd will respond to it like a comedy show instead of heckling you, which is the ultimate crux of the show. Like I don't know. It was troubling. So I get up there. I'm planning on doing about 4 minutes because that's how much time I'm supposed to do. I get through the first minute, the safe period where nobody gets heckled. They hit the siren. I pause for a second, nobody starts heckling me, so I just keep doing the set. It keeps getting laughs, I'm doing well. I get to about 3:30 of the 4-minute set, I get the light, and I'm like, oh, I should tell one more joke. And I realize I'm kind of out of stuff that I'm proud of, so I do one cheesy joke. I do that joke, I recently read Charles Dickens' Great Expectations, was not as good as I thought it would be. Quiet, and then Anna goes, "You're not as good as I thought you would be."
I remember
and
that.
I yell into the mic, "Oh!" And then the crowd goes, "Oh!" And they start clapping. And Jesse Lopez is standing in the back, and he starts flipping over chairs. And
I
he
remember
starts
that.
pushing things over.
I started a one-man riot. I enjoyed that.
It was a one-man riot, and Michael Folk was like, "It's over."
And I remember I took a dive onto some chairs. I dove, and I like dove into the chairs, and I knocked over like 10 of them.
Yeah.
And it was worth it.
And yeah, so that is how the last Tackle Factory ended. We got escorted out of a lot of places. I never realized how many places we were walked out of. But everybody was walked out of the New Movement Theater that night. We all stood outside, and Pat Dean was very angry.
Yeah, he was like, "Fuck you, Jesse," and I was like, "What did I do?" And he's like, "No, man, I drove all the way over here, and I waited for people's sets so I could be." He was a really big pussy about it.
No, yeah, it was. Yeah, so that's how that played out.
Why do they allow semis on roads?
I don't know.
They should be on trains.
And
It should be like a railroad for these people.
To be fair, I think you thought the show was over at that point, didn't you?
I didn't care.
Actually,
yeah, I was kind of glad that they didn't fucking put Dean on, because I never thought he was very funny.
Alright.
True. No, but this is the thing. He always has that same thing. Does that same thing. Why are you people at a comedy show? You should be at home with your family. And it works like a fifth of the time that I've seen him. Shit, do we have a flat tire? What the fuck?
No, the roads are just super F.
Oh, shit.
To the right.
Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis.
Woo. All right. Hey, so we're almost home.
Yep. 2 hours away.
2 hours away. Guys, this has been Jesse Lopez's 15-minute
We're
podcast.
62 minutes into the 15-minute podcast. Jesse Lopez's 15-minute podcast that is only 15 minutes in length, featuring 15 minutes of comedy. 15 minutes.
The only podcast worth listening to twice.
If this is a 15-minute podcast, people have to listen to it for more than 4 times to get all the things we've said. The only podcast worth listening to.
Twice.
15-minute podcast. Jesse Lopez. At Jesse Lopez 9975 on Twitter.
Yes.
Jesse fucking Lopez on Facebook. Jesse F star. No, it's Jesse fucking Lopez.
Jesse
It's not
fucking
censored.
yeah. It's
Jesse
not
fucking
censored. None of me is censored.
None of you.
Go to
is
Twitter
censored.
if you want to see some ball pics. I have my testicles there. You will recognize them.
You'll recognize them.
Because they are happy.
And also, our guest today was Wes Corwin. At West Cornfield on Twitter.
At West Cornfield.
At West Cornfield on Vine. At West Cornfield on Periscope. Wes Corwin on Instagram.
Oh shit, I have some of those too, but I don't know the names.
Oh, that's okay. We'll go over what's yours and what is. Yeah, those are all the things. Jesse, this is your podcast. Do you want to say anything?
Nope.